Can the color of your blouse really make you look invisible, older, or even poor? Surprisingly, the answer is yes. Many women over 50 have experienced that moment when you look in the mirror and something feels off, not necessarily unattractive, but flat, dull, or lifeless. Often, the culprit isn't wrinkles, gray hair, or even the fit of your clothes. It's color. As we age, our skin undertone changes, our hair softens, and what once flattered us at 40 may suddenly feel wrong at 60. Certain colors can drain the light from your face, highlight shadows, or cheapen your entire outfit, even if it's an expensive piece. The wrong color sends silent messages: tired, outdated, or even invisible. And the hardest part is, you might not notice it until someone points it out. But here's the empowering truth. Color is also one of the easiest things to fix. When you choose shades that enhance your natural beauty, they lift your complexion, brighten your energy, and instantly add sophistication. People notice the difference, and more importantly, you notice the difference. This video is not about chasing trends or throwing away your whole wardrobe. It's about learning which 7 colors quietly undermine your elegance and what to wear instead. By making a few intentional swaps, you can elevate your style without spending a fortune, and ensure that the colors you wear reflect the vibrant, confident woman you've become. So, let's dive into the 7 colors that might be stealing your sparkle and discover the timeless alternatives that honor your senior wisdom and make you look radiant. Color 1. Muddy brown. Let's begin with one of the most misunderstood shades in fashion. Muddy brown. On the surface, brown feels like a safe choice. It's neutral, it pairs with almost anything, and it has long been associated with stability and warmth. But not all browns are created equal. There's a big difference between a rich, luxurious chocolate brown and the dull, dusty brown that looks more like dried mud. Unfortunately, this muddy brown is one of the most common comfort colors women over 50 reach for, and it's silently working against you. Why? Because color has the power to influence perception. When you wear muddy brown near your face, it dulls your complexion. Instead of highlighting your natural glow, it casts a shadow across your skin, making it look sallow or tired, and it flattens your energy, turning what could be an elegant outfit into something that feels neglected or unrefined. Imagine putting on a cardigan in this shade, looking in the mirror, and wondering why your eyes look smaller, your smile feels less bright, or why people don't seem to notice you in the same way. It's not your imagination. The color is draining you. Muddy brown carries unintentional messages. While rich brown suggests sophistication, earthiness, and stability, muddy brown slips into a different category. It reminds the eye of dust, dirt, or something faded and forgotten. The subtle signal it sends is, she doesn't care, even if you absolutely do. And at this stage in life, when you've earned the right to be seen fully, no color should make you fade into the background. But here's the good news. You don't need to banish brown entirely. You just need to upgrade your browns. Replace muddy shades with tones that bring depth, richness, and light back to your face. Try warm mocha or hazelnut for a soft, inviting look. Explore camel or caramel for sophisticated lightness that flatters silver hair. Choose cinnamon or rust for warmth that feels grounded but never dull. And of course, a deep chocolate brown is timeless, luxurious, and pairs beautifully with creams, ivories, and jewel tones. Here's a quick example. Imagine 2 women entering the same room. Both are beautifully dressed, but one wears a muddy brown cardigan and the other wears a camel-toned blazer. The first blends into the background. The second stands out with intention, elegance, and vitality. The difference is not in their beauty, but in their color choice. The takeaway is simple. Muddy brown may feel safe, but it's silently undermining your presence. By choosing richer, more intentional browns, you instantly elevate your look without changing your personal style. After all, fashion at this age isn't about chasing trends. It's about making choices that honor the vibrant, wise woman you've become. You deserve colors that reflect your strength, not ones that quietly erase it. Color 2. Faded black. For decades, we've been told that black is the miracle color. It's slimming, timeless, and effortlessly chic. And for the most part, that reputation is well deserved. A crisp, deep black dress or a sleek black blazer can absolutely look powerful and elegant. But here's the catch. Not all black is created equal. Over time, black fades. Fabrics lose their intensity after repeated washes, exposure to sunlight, or simple wear. And when black fades, it no longer carries the same sophistication. Instead, it can actually make you look older, tired, or less polished. Picture this: a faded black t-shirt that's been through the laundry dozens of times. The neckline is stretched, the once rich black has turned into a dusty charcoal, and little bits of lint cling stubbornly to the fabric. Now imagine that same woman, instead, wearing a structured black blouse in silk, ponte knit, or satin. One version looks neglected, the other looks powerful. The difference isn't just the garment, it's the message. Color psychology tells us that true black symbolizes authority, power, and sophistication. But faded black slips into a different category. It becomes lifeless, flat, and visually heavy. Instead of drawing attention to your presence, it drains light from your face, accentuates under-eye circles, and magnifies fine lines. What once was mysterious and elegant now feels exhausting and sad. This is why so many women over 50 find themselves frustrated. They reach for black because it feels safe and slimming. But when it's faded, it doesn't hide flaws. It highlights them. And when black becomes your default, your wardrobe stops supporting you. Instead of expressing your vibrancy, it quietly erases it. Here's how to reclaim black after 50. Choose deep, saturated black fabrics like satin, ponte, crepe, or velvet. These materials hold color better and resist fading. Replace cotton and jersey pieces often. These fabrics fade quickly, and worn-out black always looks tired. Pair with statement accessories. Pearls, silver jewelry, or bold earrings can add light back to your face. Add contrast with color. A scarf, handbag, or lipstick in red, pink, or jewel tones can balance black's heaviness. Know when to let go. If a black garment has lost its intensity, it's not doing you any favors. Replace it with something that lifts you up, and don't be afraid to experiment with alternatives. Charcoal gray can be just as slimming, but more forgiving. Navy blue feels vibrant and polished without being harsh. Espresso brown is grounded, warm, and far more flattering on mature skin. These shades give you the same elegance, but with more life. The bottom line? Faded black doesn't just flatten your clothes, it flattens your presence. After 50, you don't need to disappear into muted shadows. You deserve to shine. If your black no longer supports your radiance, let it go. You are not fading, so your wardrobe shouldn't either. Color 3. Dirty white. White has always been considered one of the most elegant, timeless colors in fashion. A crisp white blouse can brighten your face. A white dress can feel fresh and sophisticated, and nothing pairs more beautifully with silver hair than a clean optic white. But here's the problem. Not all whites stay pure. Over time, fabrics shift, fade, and yellow. What once was radiant and refined slowly becomes dull, dingy, and, without you realizing it, cheap-looking. This is the danger of dirty white. Dirty white doesn't necessarily mean stained or obviously ruined. Often, it's more subtle. A blouse that has lost its crispness after dozens of washes, a sweater that leans slightly beige or gray, or a t-shirt with faint yellowing around the collar. On their own, these might feel harmless, but when worn near your face, they drain your complexion, exaggerate shadows under your eyes, and dull the brightness of your smile. Instead of saying timeless elegance, dirty white whispers worn out. Why does this happen? It's not your fault. It's the nature of fabric. Cotton and polyester tend to discolor after repeated wear. Residue from deodorant and body oils can yellow the underarms. Storage in plastic bins or near wood can change tones. Even excessive bleaching can weaken fibers and leave fabric looking tired. Over time, that once fresh white piece loses its dignity, and with it, your reflection does too. The good news is that white isn't the enemy. Dirty white is. When chosen wisely, white can still be one of the most flattering colors a woman over 50 can wear. The secret is being selective and intentional. Here's what to reach for instead. Crisp optic white, pure, bright, and especially flattering with silver hair. Ivory, soft, creamy, warm, and elegant without looking dull. Bone or oyster, refined neutrals that flatter most skin tones while avoiding the yellow cast of aged fabrics. And when you do invest in whites, take care of them. Use gentle detergents, add lemon or a bluing agent to your wash, or soak in OxyClean to maintain brightness. Store them carefully away from direct gallade or harsh plastics. Treat them as you would a precious accessory, because in many ways, they are. Imagine this scenario. Two women enter a luncheon. One wears a white blouse that has lost its luster, faint discoloration visible around the collar. The other wears a fresh optic white blouse, perfectly crisp. They may both be equally stylish women, but the second one immediately commands attention and respect. The difference is not age, not beauty, not even style. It's the purity of the color. Clothing doesn't have to be expensive to look expensive, but it does have to be intentional. When you hold on to whites that have passed their prime, you're sending a message of neglect, even if you don't mean to. When you choose whites that glow, you're sending a message of vitality, care, and timeless elegance. The takeaway is simple. Dirty white undermines your elegance in silence. You deserve colors that honor the light you still carry inside. So the next time you reach for that safe old blouse or cardigan, pause and ask yourself, does this reflect my radiance, or does it dull it? Color 4. Neon shades. Few colors divide opinion as sharply as neon shades. Think highlighter yellow, electric pink, or screaming lime green. On a teenager at a summer festival, they might look fun, playful, even daring. But on mature skin, the story changes. What once looked lively and rebellious can suddenly look harsh, jarring, and unflattering. Here's why. Neon colors are essentially color on overdrive. They're loud, aggressive, and designed it to stand out. But as we age, our skin softens, our undertones shift, and our natural contrast decreases. Neon shades create a high, artificial contrast that emphasizes every shadow, every uneven patch, and every texture in the skin. Instead of making you look youthful, they often make you look washed out. Or worse, like you're trying too hard to appear younger than you are. Color psychology tells us that neons are linked with urgency, youth rebellion, and high energy. That's why they're used in safety signs, sports gear, and teenage fashion. But in luxury style, neon rarely makes an appearance. Why? Because elegance whispers, it doesn't shout. When neon dominates an outfit, it overpowers your natural beauty instead of supporting it. Imagine wearing a neon lime top with silver hair. Instead of highlighting your glow, the green bounces unflattering tones onto your skin, making it appear tired or uneven. Or consider a neon hot pink blouse. Rather than feeling feminine, it clashes with mature features, creating the impression of costume rather than style. The result? The outfit wears you, not the other way around. This doesn't mean you have to live without color. In fact, as we age, color becomes even more essential. The key is refinement. Trade the harsh, glaring neons for shades that carry energy with grace. If you love yellow, try mustard buttercream or goldenrod. Warm, cheerful, and wearable. If you love pink, go for rose, raspberry, or blush. Feminine and flattering. If you love green, choose olive, sage, or emerald. Rich, grounded, and elegant. These colors still express vibrancy, but in a way that harmonizes with your natural presence instead of fighting it. Here's the secret. After 50, you don't need colors that scream for attention. You need colors that reflect your wisdom and invite attention naturally. Neons will always belong to fast fashion, short-lived trends, and the playful energy of youth. But richer, warmer tones belong to you, timeless, teas, intentional, and elevated. So the next time you're tempted by that neon top on a clearance rack, pause. Ask yourself, will this color support me or compete with me? Choose the shade that honors your strength, your elegance, and your story. Because at this stage of life, your wardrobe should speak with confidence, not shout in desperation. Color 5. Flat gray is often praised as a sophisticated, neutral, and versatile color. In theory, it represents balance and refinement, and when chosen well, gray can be a wonderful base for an elegant wardrobe. But here's the challenge. Not all grays are created equal. There's a huge difference between a rich, textured charcoal and the dull, flat gray that looks like concrete. And unfortunately, flat gray is one of the most quietly aging colors a woman over 50 can wear. Flat gray has a draining effect. It doesn't highlight your features or provide contrast. Instead, it mirrors the natural changes that happen in mature skin and hair. As we age, our coloring softens. Hair turns silver, skin becomes lighter or more translucent. When you place flat gray against that, the result can be lifeless and invisible. Instead of lifting you, the color sinks you into the background. It resembles uniforms, hospital scrubs, or pajamas. None of those say elegance, and none reflect the vibrant, multifaceted woman you truly are. The reason flat gray feels safe is because it's neutral. It doesn't clash with anything, but safe isn't always flattering. What it really says is, don't notice me. And that's the opposite of what your style should communicate. After 50, you've earned the right to be seen, not to fade into a blur of dull tones. But this doesn't mean all gray is off limits. On the contrary, gray can be stunning when you choose the right version. Here are alternatives that flatter instead of flatten. Heather gray, soft, marled, and textured with subtle depth. Graygy, a mix of gray and beige, warmer and more forgiving. Charcoal, rich, dramatic, and striking against lighter hair and skin. Warm taupe, a modern, sophisticated neutral with just enough warmth to lift your features. The difference is in the undertone and the texture. A flat, concrete gray gives nothing back to your appearance. A nuanced gray, on the other hand, adds dimension and frames your face. Imagine wearing a flat gray cardigan to a dinner. Your skin may appear dull and tired. Now imagine swapping it for a soft heather gray sweater. Suddenly, your complexion looks brighter, your eyes more awake, your entire presence more polished. The secret to wearing gray successfully is to avoid lifelessness. Look for fabrics with depth, knits with texture, blends with flex, or shades with warm undertones. Pair grays with accessories that add light, silver jewelry, pearls, or a colorful scarf. Think of gray not as a hiding place, but as a backdrop for your glow. Fashion is a language, and flat gray whispers resignation. But refined grays whisper elegance. Don't let your clothes mute your presence. Choose the grays that highlight your dignity, your strength, and your wisdom. You don't need to shout with color, but you do deserve colors that let you shine. Color 6. Ashy pastel. Most pastels have a reputation for being soft, feminine, and timeless. And it's true. The right pastel can look beautiful on mature women, bringing a gentle glow and subtle elegance. But not all pastels are equal. Some shades, especially ashy pastels, can quietly sabotage your appearance. Ashy pastels are those pale shades with muted gray undertones. Think of a baby pink that has faded into chalk, a lavender that leans dull and grayish, or a mint green that looks more washed out than fresh. On paper, they may seem gentle and appropriate, but on mature skin, they take more than they give. Instead of brightening your complexion, they emphasize fatigue, blur your features, and wash you out. Here's why. As we age, our natural pigment softens. Hair turns silver or white, skin loses some of its underlying warmth, and lips become less naturally pigmented. That's normal, not a flaw. But when you combine that with a color that already lacks vibrancy, The result can be dullness upon dullness. Your outfit may look appropriate, but it won't look radiant. This is one of the traps many women fall into. Ashy pastels feel safe. They're subtle, they don't shout, and they seem age-appropriate. But safe isn't always stylish. In fact, overly dull pastels can send the opposite message. Not soft elegance, but frailty and invisibility. Your wardrobe should never mute the stories and vitality you carry. The good news is that pastels themselves aren't the problem. It's the undertone. Here's how to choose pastels that lift rather than drain. Rose or blush pink. Warmer, clearer, and full of life. Lavender with blue undertones. Fresh, luminous, and flattering on cool-toned skin. Mint or aqua. Vibrant versions that feel alive, not dusty. Peachy coral. Warm, feminine, and glowing without being loud. When chosen with intention, pastels can be as powerful as jewel tones. And the difference is in vibrancy and clarity. For example, imagine wearing a chalky, ashy pastel pink blouse. It might make your skin look grayish and your eyes appear dull. Now replace it with a blush pink top. Instantly, your face looks brighter, your smile more radiant, your presence more alive. The lesson is simple. Don't let your clothes whisper fatigue when you're full of wisdom and vitality. Choose pastels that reflect light back onto your skin and bring warmth to your energy. After 50, you don't have to avoid color. You just need to refine it. Ashy pastels fade you out. Lively, clear pastels bring you forward. And that's exactly where you deserve to be. Seen, celebrated, and shining. Color 7. Overly matched outfits. For decades, women were taught that the secret to looking polished was matching everything perfectly. Shoes should match the handbag, lipstick should match the scarf, and sometimes even earrings match the skirt. At first glance, this seems logical. Harmony equals style. But here's the reality. When every single piece is the exact same shade, the result is not elegance. It's stiffness. Overly matched outfits can feel forced, dated, and lifeless. Instead of looking effortless, they flatten your personality. Your silhouette disappears, your outfit loses movement, and what could have been chic now reads as overdone. Think of it this way. Fashion is supposed to create conversation. But when every piece shouts the same note, there's no melody, no contrast, no spark. This habit is especially common for women over 50. Why? Because many of us grew up during a time when rules dominated style. Match your purse with your shoes, coordinate your jewelry with your blouse, and keep everything consistent. But style has evolved. Today, true elegance is about balance and intention, not rigid perfection. The problem with overmatching is that it sends the wrong message. Instead of refined, it can say out of touch. Instead of effortless, it says trying too hard. And ironically, instead of making you look expensive, it can make even high-quality clothes feel cheap because the look feels overworked. The solution is not to abandon coordination altogether, but to replace matching with harmony. Complementary tones create sophistication, while too much sameness kills it. For example, navy trousers paired with a sky blue blouse and silver jewelry look harmonious, not repetitive. Olive pants with a cream linen top and mustard earrings create depth without chaos. A rose blouse with plum trousers and nude shoes feels chic without screaming uniform. Here's how to modernize your look. Vary tones within a color family. Instead of wearing head-to-toe burgundy, try wine pants with a blush top. Play with textures. Leather shoes, a silk blouse, and a wool blazer in related hues add dimension. Anchor with neutrals. Mix one strong color with softer tones like ivory, taupe, or navy. Add a pop of contrast. A bold necklace, bright scarf, or metallic shoes can transform an outfit from flat to fabulous. Imagine two women attending the same dinner. One wears a red dress, red shoes, red lipstick, and a red handbag. She looks overly coordinated, more costume than chic. The other wears the same red dress, but pairs it with nude shoes, a gold pendant necklace, and a cream clutch. She looks intentional, modern, and elegant. The difference isn't money, it's mindset. The bottom line, you are not a uniform, you are a masterpiece. Overly matched outfits erase your individuality, while harmonious, intentional styling celebrates it. At this stage in life, you deserve to express not just appropriateness, but presence. Don't hide behind rigid rules. Let your outfits breathe. Let them reflect your wisdom, your joy, and your style. As we've seen, the colors you wear carry more power than most of us realize. They don't just cover your body, they shape the message you send to the world and even the way you feel about yourself. Muddy browns, faded blacks, dirty whites, harsh neons, flat grays, ashy pastels, and overly matched outfits all share one thing in common. They quietly drain your elegance. They whisper fatigue, invisibility, or neglect, even when that's the furthest thing from who you truly are. But here's the empowering truth. You have the ability to change that message instantly. By swapping out lifeless shades for richer browns, deeper blacks, crisp whites, refined pastels, and harmonious color pairings, you transform not just your wardrobe, but your presence. The right colors illuminate your skin, brighten your eyes, and reflect the vibrant, wise woman you've become. Remember, fashion after 50 is not about rules or trends. It's about intentionality. It's about choosing colors that celebrate your story, highlight your dignity, and remind you, and everyone else, that you are still radiant. Clothes don't have to be expensive to look expensive. They simply have to support you, not sabotage you. So as you look at your wardrobe this week, I encourage you to let go of the colors that dull your sparkle and embrace the shades that lift you higher. Don't let outdated habits or safe choices keep you invisible. You deserve colors that speak of confidence, joy, and senior wisdom. Tell me in the comments, which color are you ready to retire, and which shade makes you feel alive again? If this video gave you some inspiration, please give it a like, share it with a friend, and don't forget to subscribe. Because this community is here to honor not who the world expects you to be, but the radiant woman you already are.